Hello guys. Do you have one of these rare and most valuable Washington quarter dollar coins sitting somewhere in your home, in an old jar, in a drawer, or maybe hiding in a collection you have not looked at in years? Because if you do, that single coin could completely and absolutely change your life forever. We are talking about coins that look ordinary on the outside, coins that were once passed around as everyday pocket change, coins that most people spent without a second thought. But today, those very same coins are selling for amounts of money that will leave you speechless. Before this video is over, you're going to see exactly why two specific Washington quarter dollar coins from the United States of America are now worth a combined value that most people will never earn in an entire year of working. So before you go anywhere, before you skip ahead, before you close this video, I want you to stay right here because what you are about to discover could be the most important thing you watch all year. And if you are new to this channel and you love coins, you love treasure, you love the idea of finding incredible value in the most unexpected places, then hit that subscribe button right now and ring that notification bell so you never miss another video like this one. This channel is dedicated to people just like you who want to know what their coins are truly worth, and we are just getting started. Now let us talk about something that most people do not fully understand about coins. When you hold a coin in your hand, you are not just holding money. You are holding a piece of history that has traveled through time. Every Washington quarter dollar that was ever minted carries with it a story, a moment, a year, a place, and a set of circumstances that can never be repeated. The United States Mint has been producing Washington quarter dollars since 1932, and over those many decades, millions upon millions of these coins were struck and sent out into circulation. But here is what makes this so fascinating. Not every coin that came out of that mint was created equally. Some of those coins carry errors. Some of them carry unique characteristics. Some of them were produced in smaller numbers than others. And some of them were struck in ways that make them incredibly rare, incredibly desirable, and incredibly valuable to the most serious collectors and investors in the numismatic world today. The two coins we are focusing on today fall into that extraordinary category, and once you understand why, you will never look at your loose change the same way again. Let us set the stage properly, because this story deserves to be told with the full weight it carries. The Washington quarter dollar is one of the most recognized and beloved coins in American history. The portrait of George Washington, the first president of the United States, has graced the obverse of this coin for nearly a century. His image was designed by sculptor John Flanagan, and it was modeled after a famous bust created by Jean-Antoine Houdon in 1785. That portrait carries dignity, strength, and a sense of timeless authority that has made the Washington quarter one of the most iconic coins ever produced by any mint in the world. On the reverse, you have the powerful image of an eagle with its wings spread wide, standing on a bundle of arrows, a symbol of strength and readiness. Below the eagle sits an olive branch, representing peace. Above it, the words United States of America and the denomination E pluribus unum complete the design. This is a coin that was built to last, built to represent the greatest nation on earth, and built to carry value that goes far beyond its face denomination of 25 cents. But here is where the story takes a dramatic turn. Among all the Washington quarter dollars ever produced, there are certain dates, certain mint marks, and certain conditions that elevate specific coins into a league that very few people ever get to experience. These are the coins that auction houses fight over, that museums want to display, that private collectors spend years searching for, and that ordinary people sometimes stumble upon without even realizing what they have found. The two coins we are going to examine today are exactly that kind of discovery. They are coins that were made in America, by Americans, for Americans, and yet they have become so rare and so sought after that their value has climbed to levels that truly defy imagination. So let us dive in because the first coin we are discussing today is one that numismatic experts have been talking about for years, and the more you learn about it, the more you will understand exactly why. The 1986 D Washington quarter dollar is a coin that deserves your full and complete attention. Struck at the Denver Mint, this coin carries the D Mint mark that identifies its origin, and it is that combination of year, mint location, and condition that makes it so extraordinarily special. Now you might be sitting there thinking, 1986 does not sound that old. You might even remember 1986. You might have been alive in 1986, maybe going to school, maybe raising a family, maybe just starting out in the world. And that is exactly what makes this coin so deceptive to the untrained eye. Because when most people think about valuable coins, they think about coins from the 1800s, coins from the Revolutionary War era, coins that look ancient and worn. But the truth about coin collecting is far more nuanced and far more exciting than that simple assumption. A coin does not have to be old to be valuable. What makes a coin valuable is rarity, demand, condition, and the story behind it. And the 1986 D Washington quarter has all of those elements working together in a way that produces a result that is nothing short of extraordinary. When the Denver Mint was producing quarters in 1986, the world was a very different place. Ronald Reagan was in the White House, serving his second term as President of the United States. The Space Shuttle Challenger tragedy had shaken the nation to its core earlier that year. The Cold War was still very much a reality. Music, fashion, and culture were exploding with creativity and energy. And through all of that, the Denver Mint was doing what it always does, striking coins, day after day, sending them out into the economy to do their job as currency. But within that production run, something happened that would not be fully understood or appreciated for years to come. Specific coins from this production run, coins in the highest possible states of preservation, coins that somehow escaped circulation entirely, coins that were struck with exceptional quality and kept in conditions that maintained their brilliance and sharpness. These coins began to emerge into the collector market with characteristics that made experts stop and take notice. The surfaces of these coins, when examined under proper magnification and lighting, revealed strike quality and luster preservation that was simply breathtaking. The details on Washington's portrait, the feathers of the eagle, the lettering around the rim, all of it preserved in a state that looked as though the coin had just come off the mint press moments ago despite being decades old. In the world of professional coin grading, condition is everything. Coins are graded on a scale that runs from 1 to 70, with 70 representing a coin in absolutely perfect, flawless condition as struck, with no post-production imperfections of any kind. Coins that reach the highest grades on this scale, grades like MS-67, MS-68, and the nearly mythical MS-69 and MS-70, are coins that transcend the ordinary and enter the realm of the extraordinary. And when a 1986 D Washington quarter dollar reaches those elite grade levels, something remarkable happens to its value. It does not just go up a little. It does not just double or triple. It multiplies in ways that seem almost impossible until you see the actual auction records and realize that this is not speculation or exaggeration. This is documented, verified, real-world numismatic value that has been established through competitive bidding among serious collectors who know exactly what they are looking at and are willing to pay extraordinary prices to own these coins. The reason these high-grade examples are so rare comes down to a combination of factors that all work against preservation. In 1986, most people had no idea that the quarters they were receiving as change might one day be worth a fortune. They spent them, dropped them, tossed them in jars, let them rattle around in pockets and purses alongside keys and other coins. That physical contact, that everyday handling, creates tiny marks and scratches on the coin's surface called bag marks and contact marks, and these imperfections lower the grade and therefore the value of the coin significantly. The coins that avoided all of that, whether because they were pulled from original mint rolls by foresight collectors or because they ended up in some forgotten corner where they were never touched, those coins are the ones that have survived to this day in the condition necessary to achieve those elite grades. And because so few of them exist in that condition, when one comes to market, the competition among buyers is fierce, and the prices reflect that competition with stunning clarity. The value attached to the finest known examples of the 1986 D Washington quarter dollar has reached a level that stands at $83,000, a number that represents everything extraordinary about what coin collecting truly is. Think about that number for a moment. $83,000 for a quarter. A coin with a face value of 25 cents. A coin that in 1986 you could have used to make a phone call from a payphone, to buy a piece of candy, to add to a handful of change you might have left on a counter without a second thought. The transformation from 25 cents to $83,000 is not just a financial story. It is a story about rarity, about survival, about the way that time and circumstance can elevate the ordinary into the extraordinary. It is a story that reminds us that value is not always visible to the naked eye, that sometimes the most remarkable things in life are hiding in the most ordinary places, waiting for someone with knowledge and attention to recognize them for what they truly are. Now you might be wondering whether you could have one of these coins. And the honest answer is that it is absolutely possible. Coins from 1986 are not ancient history. They have been circulating, sitting in collections, hiding in old rolls, resting in coin jars in attics and basements all across the United States for nearly 40 years now. If you have a Washington quarter from 1986 with a D mint mark, the first thing you want to do is handle it as carefully as possible. Do not clean it, do not polish it, do not try to improve its appearance in any way because any of those actions can dramatically reduce its value. Instead, examine it gently under good lighting and see what you are working with. If the coin looks brilliant, if the surfaces appear to have their original luster intact, if the details are sharp and clear, then what you might be holding is something that deserves professional evaluation. A coin grading service can examine your coin, assess its condition, assign it a grade, and encapsulate it in a protective holder that preserves its condition and verifies its authenticity. That process could be the beginning of a journey that changes your financial life in ways you never anticipated. Now we move into the second coin of today's video. And if you thought the story of the 1986 D Washington quarter was extraordinary, then prepare yourself because what we are about to discuss takes everything to an entirely different level. The 1972 Washington quarter dollar is a coin that has earned its place among the most talked about, most studied, and most aggressively pursued coins in the entire landscape of American numismatics. This is a coin that carries with it the weight of an era, the fingerprints of a moment in American history that was turbulent, transformative, and unforgettable, and the numismatic characteristics that make it one of the rarest and most desirable quarters ever to come out of any United States mint facility. When you understand the full story of this coin, when you understand what makes it so unique, so difficult to find in the condition necessary to command its highest values, and so passionately sought after by collectors who have dedicated their lives to the pursuit of numismatic perfection, you will understand why the price attached to the finest known examples of this coin sits at $154,000. Let us go back to 1972 and feel the weight of that year. The Vietnam War was still tearing the nation apart, with protests filling the streets of American cities and the national conversation dominated by questions of sacrifice, purpose, and identity. President Richard Nixon was navigating one of the most complex and consequential periods in American political history, and the events of that year would eventually lead to consequences that shook the foundations of the American government itself. Meanwhile, the cultural revolution that had begun in the 1960s was still in full force, reshaping music, art, fashion, and the way ordinary Americans saw themselves and their country. It was a year of contradiction, of darkness and creativity existing side by side, of a nation wrestling with its own soul while simultaneously reaching toward its future. And through all of that, the United States Mint was doing what it has always done with quiet, relentless precision. It was striking coins. In 1972, Washington quarter dollars were being produced at multiple mint facilities, and the coins that came out of those facilities entered circulation and began their journey through the American economy. Most of them were spent immediately, handled thousands of times, worn down by the friction of daily commerce until their details softened and their surfaces became the dull, scratched testimony of a life well used. Those coins, worn and circulated, are common. They can be found in coin dealers' bins across the country for very little money. But the 1972 Washington quarter that we are talking about today is not one of those coins. The specimens that command the extraordinary value of $154,000 are coins that represent the absolute pinnacle of what this coin can be, preserved in states of perfection that defy the odds, that defy the passage of time, and that stand as monuments to what the United States Mint was capable of producing when everything came together exactly right. What separates a common 1972 Washington quarter from a coin worth $154,000 is a combination of factors that professional numismatists have spent decades documenting and analyzing. The strike quality on the finest known examples of this coin is exceptional in ways that are immediately apparent to anyone trained to see them. Every element of the design, From the precise contours of Washington's profile to the individual feathers rendered in the eagle's wings, from the sharp incuse lettering around the rim to the delicate surface texture that catches light in a way that makes the coin appear almost alive. All of it comes together on these top-grade specimens with a clarity and precision that represents the very best of what coin production can achieve. The luster on these coins, that brilliant, cartwheel-like optical effect produced by the flow of metal across the dies during the striking process, is preserved in a state of completeness that makes these coins look as though time itself has refused to touch them. The rarity of finding a 1972 Washington quarter in this condition today cannot be overstated. Over 50 years have passed since these coins were struck. 50 years of handling, of storage in less than ideal conditions, of the natural processes of oxidation and environmental exposure that work ceaselessly against the preservation of numismatic quality. Every year that passes makes the surviving high-grade examples more precious, more irreplaceable, and more valuable. The collectors who hold these coins understand that they are not just holding a quarter. They are holding one of a tiny number of survivors from a specific moment in time, a moment that can never come again, preserved in a condition that represents the absolute best that moment had to offer. That understanding drives demand, and that demand drives value to the levels we are talking about today. There is also something deeply psychological about the way collectors and investors respond to coins from eras they remember or feel connected to. For viewers watching this video today who are between the ages of 35 and 65 or beyond, 1972 is not ancient history. It is lived history. It is a year that carries personal meaning, personal memory, personal emotion. Whether you were born in that year, whether you were a child experiencing the world with fresh eyes, whether you were a young adult finding your way, or whether you were already an established adult watching the events of that era unfold around you, 1972 is a year that connects to something real and something felt. And when a coin carries that kind of personal historical resonance alongside its numismatic rarity and its extraordinary condition, the value it commands is not just financial. It is emotional, it is cultural, and it is deeply, profoundly human. The hunt for a 1972 Washington quarter in the condition necessary to achieve top grades is one of the great ongoing quests in American coin collecting. Professional numismatists, experienced dealers, and passionate collectors have spent years searching through original mint rolls, estate collections, old accumulations of unsearched coins, and every other source that might yield an undiscovered gem. The fact that these coins are still being found, the fact that there are still discoveries being made, the fact that there are still original rolls and collections that have never been fully examined sitting in attics and bank vaults and storage facilities all across the United States means that the next great find could come from anywhere. It could come from a coin show in a small town. It could come from an estate sale in a neighborhood nobody would associate with numismatic treasure. It could come from your own home, from a collection you inherited, from a jar of old coins you have been meaning to sort through for years but never got around to examining properly. That possibility, that genuine, real, documented possibility that you might be holding one of these coins right now without knowing it, is what makes videos like this one so important. Knowledge is the most powerful tool any coin collector or any ordinary person with a jar of old change can have. When you know what to look for, when you understand what makes a coin special, when you can look at a Washington quarter from 1972 and recognize the characteristics that separate a common worn example from a potential treasure, you are equipped with something that most people simply do not have. And that knowledge can translate directly into life-changing financial outcomes. It has happened before. It will happen again. The only question is whether it will happen to someone who is paying attention. Let us talk about what you should do right now, today, after watching this video. Go through your coin collection if you have one. Go through those jars of old change that have been sitting in a closet or on a shelf. Ask your parents or grandparents if they have old coins tucked away somewhere. Look through any estate items you may have inherited that have not been fully examined. When you find Washington quarter dollars, pay particular attention to the dates and mint marks. The mint mark is a small letter found on the obverse of the coin, on the right side of Washington's portrait just above the date. AD indicates the Denver Mint. No mint mark on pre-1968 coins indicates the Philadelphia Mint. An S indicates the San Francisco Mint. When you find a 1986D or a 1972 quarter, handle it with extreme care. Hold it by the edges only, never touching the faces of the coin with your bare fingers because the oils from your skin can damage the surface and reduce its numismatic grade. Place it gently in a protective flip or a coin holder and set it aside for professional evaluation. Do not attempt to clean the coin under any circumstances. This is one of the most common and most damaging mistakes that people make when they find what they believe might be a valuable coin. Cleaning a coin, no matter how carefully or gently you do it, removes the original surface of the coin, destroys the natural patina and toning that developed over decades. And in the eyes of professional graders and serious collectors, a clean coin is a damaged coin. The cleaning itself can reduce a coin's value by 50, 70, even 90% or more. The coin that might have been worth thousands or tens of thousands of dollars in its original unaltered state becomes worth a small fraction of that the moment it has been cleaned. Leave the coin exactly as you found it and let professionals evaluate it in its natural state. A professional coin grading service will examine your coin under magnification and controlled lighting conditions, assess every aspect of its surface quality and strike characteristics, compare it against established standards for its date and mint, and assign it a grade that accurately reflects its condition. That grade, once assigned and the coin sealed in a protective holder, becomes the coin's permanent numismatic identity and the foundation upon which its market value is established. The top grading services in the United States have earned the trust of the collecting community through decades of consistent, accurate, and transparent grading, and their holders are recognized and respected by dealers, auction houses, and collectors around the world. The stories of people who discovered life-changing value in coins they already owned, coins they had inherited, coins they found in the most ordinary circumstances, are not fairy tales. They are documented, verifiable, real-world events that happen with regularity in the numismatic community. A quarter found in a jar. A roll of coins purchased at face value from a bank. A collection inherited from a grandparent who spent a lifetime quietly accumulating coins without ever fully understanding what they had assembled. These are the origin stories of some of the most significant numismatic discoveries in recent decades, and the people who made those discoveries all share one common characteristic. They knew what they were looking at. They had taken the time to learn, to watch, to pay attention, and when the moment came, they were ready. That is exactly what this channel is here to help you do. Every video we produce is designed to give you the knowledge, the context, and the inspiration you need to look at the coins in your life with new eyes. Because the truth about rare and valuable coins is that they do not announce themselves. They do not come with labels or flashing lights or any kind of obvious signal that sets them apart from every other coin in a collection. They look, to the untrained eye, like ordinary coins. They feel like ordinary coins. They have been spending decades hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone who knows enough to recognize them for what they truly are. The 1986D Washington quarter dollar valued at $83,000. The 1972 Washington quarter dollar valued at $154,000. These are not numbers pulled from imagination. These are values established in the real marketplace by real buyers who understand exactly what they are acquiring when they pursue the finest known examples of these coins. These are values that reflect decades of rarity, decades of survival against the odds, and decades of growing demand from a collecting community that understands the profound significance of holding a piece of American history in its most pristine, most perfect, most extraordinary form. The next time you reach into your pocket and pull out a handful of change, take a moment before you spend it. Turn those coins over. Look at the dates. Check the mint marks. Because somewhere out there, in a jar on a shelf, in a drawer that has not been opened in years, in an old collection that nobody has looked at since someone passed it down to the next generation, there are coins like these waiting to be found. There are coins that look ordinary on the outside, but carry extraordinary value on the inside. There are coins that could change your life in ways you cannot yet imagine. And the only thing standing between you and that discovery is knowledge, attention, and the willingness to look at the ordinary world around you with extraordinary eyes. If this video opened your eyes to the remarkable world of Washington quarter dollars, if it gave you something new to think about, something new to look for, something new to be excited about, then please share it with someone you care about. because you might be the person who helps them find their own treasure. Leave your questions and your discoveries in the comments below, because this community is built on shared knowledge and shared passion. And most importantly, subscribe to this channel right now if you have not already, because we are just getting started and the coins we are going to show you in the videos ahead will absolutely blow your mind. The 1986 D Washington quarter dollar. Value: $83,000. The 1972 Washington quarter dollar. Value: $154,000. Check your coins. Your treasure might already be in your hands.